Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of TFT Hyperroll from Mission for Tuition. Why is it Mission for Tuition? You probably know, but it is called Mission for Tuition because we are trying to raise money for our son's middle and high school tuition. No, we're not asking for donations. It's all about views. We only make money from views. All we ask of you is to help the YouTube algorithm. Like, comment, subscribe, watch the whole video. The more watch time it gets, the more likely they are to recommend it to other people, the more likely it is to get out there, the more likely it is to get more views, help the channel grow, and pay for tuition. And with that said, let's get into this build. So like a lot of builds, this one's going to start off instantly, non-committal. It's going to give me some things. It's going to give me a 3-cost assassin scrap, a 3-cost challenger, and then I'm going to go ahead and buy out the entire board. Now, the one thing I do want to do is let's appreciate this adorable little pixie mander as he tries to figure out where things go. It's too cute. It's too much cuteness for one little thing. I love the fact that I bought this. The first augment comes in, and it's a bunch of stuff that would help maybe if I knew exactly what I was doing, but I really don't have enough clarity right now. So as I said in my video, when in doubt, go with healing. And I decided to do that. And at this point, it's just a matter of putting together the strongest team I can with what I have. So I'm going to put in 2-cost units if I have them, just so I can get things rolling. And at this point, it's just thrown together, but getting some silver champions out there early often helps you win early fights. A lot of times I don't end up doing this because I spend so much time staring at the augments. This time, luckily, I had enough time. Now, normally I would recommend to people to have put in the Zig so you could trigger the arcane buff, but Samira is just such a strong early unit. I wanted to keep her in this fight, and it seems to be working. Now, with my only augment being a generic healing augment, I haven't really committed into anything yet. When I see a Shaco and 2 Katarinas, I decide to pick them up, and now wish I had held on to that early echo that I had, but I didn't. I grabbed Darius to just complete the potential of making a Syndicate build since I now have Shaco. And I kind of wish these fights sometimes had more impact on the game, but it's only for 2 points, so it doesn't have that much impact. But I've now put in Ziggs to trigger the arcane buff, and this is going to come down to just a who gets the last hit, and a dodge chance at the right moment allows Ziggs to win it. With a Shaco on my bench, and yes, I'm gonna pronounce it that way, I'm grabbing the sparring gloves because the perfect Shaco items will involve 2 sparring gloves, one for the Infinity Edge and one for the Last Whisperer. Now, I gotta say, this team has done a smart thing and gotten decent items onto their Quinn. I'm not sure she's going to end up with them at the end, but as an item carrier, they're pretty solid. She's shredding through our team and able to get through this Ziggs who had escaped before, but this time, not so lucky. So into the second augment, and even though I'm doing well in the match, this build really isn't committing itself. I choose Pandora's items, which is going to keep randomizing anything that ends up on the bench, so I can essentially end up creating my own items. It's time to get rid of Ziggs because I don't feel like I'm headed into Arcanus, and I'm going to start heading towards Syndicate Assassins since I have the 3 Syndicates and I have some Assassins. Now, at this point, I'm not really sure this is going to work out because the game really hasn't shown me much in the way of Syndicate love other than giving me the champions, but no augments to fit in. So I know it's going to be a little bit of a rough ride right now. And as I head into the NPC round, I just want to show you why I chose Pandora's items. Notice all of my bench items have changed, and I had mentioned I needed the 3 key items for Shaco, which are going to be the Infinity Edge, Last Whisperer, and hopefully a Rapid Fire Cannon. This way I can ultimately create it, and I'm also able to give Katarina the blue buff so she can cast more often. After the NPC round, I'm able to get the Hextech Gunblade onto Katarina, and then I just have to look over to my bench and notice that I actually have one of the items for the Rapid Fire Cannon and get that onto Shaco. It's possible that Chain Vest sitting there is going to turn into a bow in the next round. I don't know. It's one of the reasons I like Pandora's items is you get to wait it out. People asked me during the last live stream when playing Yordles what my favorite carry was, and my answer actually surprised them because it was Vex. But here's really where you'll see why. Vex is able to just absolutely stand there, take damage, and then ultimately pour it out when her shield explodes and defeat this team. Now it's time for the final augment, and I was hoping for something Syndicate-y, but it kind of played into my assassin build that I'm going with, as I have 4 assassins, so I decide to get the assassin emblem. Luckily there was a Braum waiting underneath who will follow in both being a syndicate and a bodyguard that will work well with Darius. The question is, where does the assassin emblem go? For now, I choose Darius because he's going to have increased armor and can at least disrupt their backline. One great thing about assassins is when you're facing Lux comps, oh yeah, they go out really quick, and that is a very popular comp right now, so you're pretty well defended against that. And with each passing round that goes by, I'm looking over to my item bench and hoping that something turns into a bow that I can put on Shaco so he doesn't have to get quite as close, although even up close and personal, he's doing pretty well at assassinating things. But patience does eventually pay off, and this is why I like Pandora's items if you have the time to use it. I had enough health in this case that I was able to hold on until I could get the exact items I wanted to fill everything out. Now the give and take of Pandora's items, see this Warmogs, it's going to turn into a Banshee's Claw as soon as the next round starts. If I had wanted to stop that, I would have had to grab it out of midair and quick put it on someone, but I was actually okay with this because what I want to do now is then protect my key carries from being hit by spells, which will be Shaco. It gives me a final item for Katarina, so now Katarina, Shaco, and Echo become safe, and I can put an Arcanist emblem onto Braum and trigger the buff for the entire team. And now I'm basically just 1 or 2 lucky rolls away from this being a walkaway. I am 1 Shaco away from a gold Shaco, and I need 1 more assassin to fill it out to make it 6, so that the crit level goes way up. I am at the 5 syndicate spot where they're super strong, but I'm not immortal yet. But this is why we have friends at Riot. You ask, and you receive. Our gold Shaco. Our last thing that we're going to be looking for is the Akali to finish out the assassins. But with all the bonuses that Syndicate has to offer and a 3-star gold Shaco with just the perfect itemization, this Lux team, well, it didn't really stand a chance because, as I said, this is great against Lux team. And with that win, we are into the top 4. Now through the NPC round, we managed to find ourselves the Akali we've been looking for. Since I already have a second Silver Katarina, I decide to pull her so that I can put some of the items onto Akali, as I believe they will be more effective on her. I consider the Banshee's Claw, but then decide that's probably not the best for her. Give her the Rage Blade just to speed up her basic attacks as she goes, although she will be spellcasting most of the time, but it's not going to be a bad thing. We 2-star the Braum and we get ready to go to war. The big mistake I did make here is I had a piece of scrap and 2 scrap champions, but didn't end up using them for that. Luckily, I don't think it's going to matter, as we now have the 6 assassins and 5 syndicates, which, I'm sorry, it's just broken. And just like that, we are in a sudden death match. Both 4 health, 6 health is going to go out. So we check in on them and then wait for them to check in on us before making our major changes. We want to hope that they're not going to be able to predict exactly where everything is going to jump. They are an enforcer team, so my Shaco is probably going to start off locked down, so I know he's going to come into this fight a little bit later than I would like. But this team really is strong enough. As I've said before, the Syndicate Assassin, when you put it together, it's just broken. And you can see that here with how easily they're eliminated, and it is GG. If you get a chance to do Syndicate Assassin, go for it. I think you'll really enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Love the new Pixie Mander, and have an absolutely awesome day.